Okay, so we're in the 737-800 now, and we'll get our brief checklists all complete now. So parking brake is set, we can put the battery on and guarded, standby power is guarded, ground power is on, we'll go to bat and ground power. After that we can go ahead and get the left pump on for the APU as we get that all ready. From there we can get our panel lights all set and checked, ready for our departure today. As we'll test out the APU fire tests just before we switch the APU over, so we can see the overheat detection, which is all in and checked. Test the bottles now, make sure they're all good to go, along with the cargo, which is all set and checked. So we'll get our panel lights on now as we get ready for our departure route of 2-1 left. So overhead now, we can get the emergency exit lights can be armed, put our position lights onto steady. After that, no smoking, and fasten seatbelt signs can be checked. As we go now and get the PACX all set with the trim air, we turn the APU bleed on. Go test the flaps, which are set. We test the flight recorder, test the max speed warnings 1 and 2, and we'll get the stall warning setting after the electrics. So we'll put the IRSs to nav now, as we can go to the FMC and get the plan all ready to go. So we'll put the IRS position in now as we get it all set. We'll get our weather, so Lima Golf Alpha Victor, which is all set and checked. So the IRS position can now go in. Catch that from the left GPS. As we continue on down, so we're going from Lima Golf Sierra Mike, which will punch in. On our departure route, we're going for 2-1 left, and we're taking out the Kia 2 Foxtrot, which is set. From there, on our route, we're then going to proceed down onto the Lima 955, which will lead us all the way down to Ripley. Then from Ripley we're going to take the Romeo 32, which is going to then take us down all the way to Nissos. From Nissos we're then going to go down onto the Hotel 59, which will then bring us down to Orami. Then for the arrival we got the Ramos 2 Alpha coming in for the VOR DME approach, which will be for 09. So we're going to transition for Samos, which is the VOR. So if we have a look on our arrival, you can see that we're going to hit almost on the 117 for 7,000 feet. Once we get to the Samos VOR for the 111.6, we get 6,000, following the inbound on the 297, which is the radial coming out. So from that 117 we then pass 6,000 feet, we'll then have the VOR switched on, where we can then basically track inbound and outbound on the VOR station. We'll do that manually with our head and select, so we'll run the VOR DME just in head and select until we basically get. So the way we're going to go is we're going to go 6,000 till we get to the Samos VOR. We're going to basically make a right hand turn, intercept the 16160 outbound onto 9 DME, where we'll then max 200 knots. We'll get our gear flaps 15 down on that right hand turn, then we'll track inbound on the 358 and intercept the VOR. Coming down we'll get to 4 DME at Samos, and then we'll break away onto a left hand turn for the 325. Coming down 900 feet just off the coast, we'll then make a right hand turn, which will then take us down. There'll be a white shed where we'll then intercept, and 400 feet passing we should then have the airport runway in sight, ready for 09. So if you want to get the arrival chart as well, guys, go onto Google, type in Samos charts, and you will see the added extra part of the arrival, and you can follow it down as we come down. So if you guys want to do that, because I won't have the charts on the Avi tab, so if you do that on your device, you'll be able to follow the arrival in as we come down. And as you can see, 7,000 on the 117 all the way down to Sam. Once we get to Sam, which is our initial approach fix, that's where we then track outbound on the 160. And vice versa, around that right turn 9 DME out from the VOR, and then intercept inbound on the 358. We'll break away onto the 325 as we said, and then 900 feet passing the coast, we'll go into the right hand turn just passing the spur, and then we'll hit 400 feet at the shed. Should have the runway in sight by then, and we'll be all good to go. So that is the arrival down, guys. Go grab the charts so you can follow us down and you can understand exactly what we're talking about on the way in.
So is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the left. We'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
So we drop down to our flaps 5 now. So as you can see, the flight is a little bit shortened down. For some reason my mic didn't want to work, so it didn't record any of my voice at all, overlaying this. So I've had to separately put in some voices. As you can see, we're testing out the stall warnings as well. So enjoy the rest of the flight, guys. I'm going to overlay as much as I can. I'll be definitely overlaying down on the approach as we come out. We're just testing now, turning off the lower display unit. So when we come down into Samos, it's going to be a really nice arrival. As we've explained, the charts, get them off of Google so you can follow it down when we do this part. I'm not going to be too much talking as I'm recording separately to get this in so you guys can get the information from the flight. Right now we're just getting ready for taxi, so majority of the procedures are not going to be in this flight. They will be done, but obviously they're not going to be included, as you're just going to be looking at literally what's happening now. So putting on the taxi, we're going to taxi down to runway 21 left, so I'll leave you until we get to the taxi and I'll see you back before the takeoff.
Carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. If you have trouble finding a location for any of your carry-on items, please use the flight attendant call button over your seat and somebody will assist you. If the overhead bin is full, please make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Please double check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats. If you're in an emergency exit row, please read the exit seating responsibilities in the card in the seat back in front of you. If you're not able to comply with these actions, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated. Feel free to use your cell phones during the rest of the boarding process, but we do ask that laptops, tablets, and any other larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate. Thank you and welcome aboard. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 465. Our flight time will be roughly 35 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in a full upright and locked position for departure. Flight attendants, please prepare cabin for departure and cross-check. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the front of the aircraft for a safety demonstration. When that you keep your seatbelt fastened in case of unexpected turbulence. Please take a few moments to now locate one of the several emergency exits on this aircraft. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. In case of an emergency and we need to evacuate the aircraft, there is lighting on the floor that will guide you towards the exit. In the event of a loss of cabin pressure, an oxygen mask will drop in front of you. If you're traveling with children, now's the time to pick your favorite one, but secure your mask and then assist others. Keep your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it's safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Push it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the strap to tighten. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If your life vest does not inflate automatically, blow into the mouthpieces for manual inflation. This vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat, slip your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest. Please securely stow your personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is prohibited by law. All of this information and more can be found on the safety card located in the seat back in front of you. We suggest reading this and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you for flying with us, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Okay, so we're getting on our strobe light. This engine starts, which is a continuous. We've got our runway turn-offs, which are checked. Taxis can be turned off now. As I've done this check, I've checked this many times, so running it off the top of my head is not too difficult. So we're going to line up now for 2-1 left. You know the drill. 40% stabilised toga. Once we lift off 400 feet, we'll activate LNAV. And then we'll run it up because we've got max 220 knots on our departure. We'll stay our flaps up until we make that right hand turn, procedure turn, and then once we do that, then we can go up to 250. So we're just going to line up now. We'll get our landing lights ready, guys, and then we'll be all set for takeoff. So there's our V speeds, just checking to make sure as we come out. So we're just changing the course. Rear wire coming out for Kia. Turn on our landing lights, which are set, and we are all ready to go. So we'll power on up. Just before we do, as you can see, we're going to make that left-hand turn out. Once we track up, you can see max knot speed before we ride out. So, can power on up now to 40%. Forward on the column and toga. Okay, we've got a little bit of wind in the area. Airspeed's alive. Check. Throttle hold.
80 knots.
Now, as we're now passing through the clouds onto that left-hand turn, we're now going to climb up to flight level 230. As we now go on to the ascender, we'll go over to our takeoff cinematics after we come out of the clouds, etc. As, like I say, we lost all mic voice on this flight today, but because it was such a nice flight, I came in and we've got the voiceovers, so I'm doing it for the main parts of this flight. So the flight's not going to be too long today, as not a lot of procedures are going to be all in. So just coming through the clouds now as we climb up. Autopilot is engaged and we're all set to go. So engine start switch is going to be turned off now, along with our runway turn-offs. 10,000 past and under 250 knots, we'll put the landing lights off. Then we'll go up to our climb speed, and then we'll go up to our cruise, which will be for 230, and then we'll come down onto that lovely arrival. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with the takeoff cinematics, and I'll see you when we come back for the top of descent, ready to come into Samos for the VOR DME circle to land. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, hit that thumbs up, and leave your comments down in the comment section below of any future flights you'd like to see. So I'll see you when we get back. guys, welcome back to the flight deck. As we are now currently getting ready to come into our descent, we are just basically resetting the QNHs to 1008, which will get on the reserve side. So we're coming in onto the 358 inbound. So once we get down, you can see that the engine ice can be turned off now, which is all set and checked. Making that right hand turn now, just coming onto the 118. Engine out the ice is now turned off. As we start our descent down to 6,000 feet for the Samos VOR. So recall can be set, which is normal and checked. Coming down for our auto brake, etc. We're taking max auto brake. We're coming in for flaps 30 for 158, as we've already got this set up before. So we'll do our landing now for our braking. So 0.3 down, so 69.4, which will give us a flaps 30, 152, plus 5, around 157. We'd come in for around 158 this evening. As I say, we haven't got the mic, so the mic didn't pick up because I noticed it wasn't attached properly. So I had to do some voiceover in tonight for you guys. So I've only put in the main parts of this arrival coming down. So we're going to get the weather now, which is in, as we've got it there set and checked. So we're coming in for runway 09, it's 178 at 11 or 170 at 11. Temperature's 30, QNH is 1008. Going at speed brakes now just to start our slow down. So we've got 1008 on the QNH coming down flaps 30, everything else is fine. As we come down, we have got our landing weight, which is 69.4. And then as we come in, we'll take also brake max, so it was 69.4. Must have missed it. So as we've got the speed brakes open now to start our slow down, coming down to our next fix, as we've got Samos, which is in view once we come down onto this descent. So this is a really nice arrival. I did enjoy it coming down into 09. It is a tricky one for sure.
Please return to your seat.
So basically, if you get your charts, which you can get off Google, just put in Samos charts and then go onto the images so you can get the extra part of the arrival this evening. You can then follow us as we come in for this lovely approach down into the lovely Samos today. So we're going to get up the arrival charts now. So as you can see, we're coming down on the start. Just going to get the transition, which is 7,000 feet.
Your destination.
Speed brakes can now be opened as we start to slow down. So we're going to come down to Samos for 6,000 feet. Once we hit Samos, we're going to track the 160 outbound for 9 DME from the VOR. Once we're 9 DME out from the VOR, we'll take a left-hand turn, we'll drop down, flaps 15, gear down, and then we'll track inbound on the VOR and intercept it back onto the 358. Once we're 4 DME from the SAM VOR, we're then going to basically make a left-hand turn onto the 325, which will then take us around 1,100 feet, abeam the pier, and then from the pier, when we make a right-hand turn, it should be before the village at an altitude of 900 feet. Passing the shed of the right roof of 400 feet, we should be then lined up for the 091 ready to come in. So we're going to use the heading select and the our normal altitude, VS, etc. So when we intercept for the VOR, we'll intercept it through heading and we'll track it. We won't look at the, won't check out the map. We'll basically just track it from our references of the VOR on display. So once we track in, we can get the VOR, which is in and set. We've got the 160 on the course, which is also set for when we intercept, and then we can make that right-hand turn to track outbound 9 DME, and then we'll make that right-hand turn back round to track 9 DME back inbound on the 358. So if you get the extra chart now, you'll be able to follow on in as we come down, slowing down to 230. As you can see, we are right there, not too far away from SAM, so we make that 160 and then 9 DME, we make that right turn out. So as we get ready to go now, we'll level off for 6,000 feet. And then we'll get ourselves all ready and configured to come. So auto brake is set to max. We're coming down for 6,000 set. On our speeds, we've got 158 for flaps 30. So we've got 153 for our VREV 30 plus 5 is 158. You can see we come down from 6,000 feet down to 3 at 9 DME outbound. Then we make that right hand turn to come in. So now the aircraft's starting to come down, we can get ourselves all ready and prepared. 1,000 to go, which is checked. QNHs can now come over past the 7,000. as we carry on that descent. So apologies for not having the mic tonight, guys, as I have had to voice overlay this, as it was a really good flight and it's good for you guys to see it as well. So the 118 now. Going to switch into heading mode now. 230, we go up to our flaps up speed. And we can get the speed brakes in now, ready to drop in for our flaps 5. Okay, so we're going to drop down into our flaps 5 now. We'll come down to our flaps 5 speed, as we need to be under 200 when we come into that right hand turn. So we'll put head and select mode on now, as we are going to get ready to make that right hand turn to the 160. So now as the VOR starts to move, we can now intercept inbound or outbound onto the 160. We'll track just a little over, so then we can intercept back on for the VOR. So we go to 180 as we make that right hand turn. Flying in head and select mode, now we'll start our descent down for 3,000 feet, 90 ME out, which we can see on the bottom left and right navigational display. We can see the VOR and the distance to how far outbound we are. We can see the right needle, the right magenta needle. Once that comes over, just like an ILS for the localizer, we'll intercept it back onto the 160 and then track it outbound. If you've got your charts with you guys, then you'll be able to follow it inbound as we carry on. So we're just waiting for the VOR needle to start coming over, and once it does, then we can track back outbound onto the 160. So we'll put a 160 in now. 25 degrees bank. As we line up nice and straight. So we're going to track now outbound for 90 ME. Flying in head and select mode, so the LNAV is not engaged or anything. We have got the path for the LNAV, but I wanted to do it with the heading as if we were tracking it from the VOR radials. So once we come to 90 ME, we're then going to make that right hand turn to intercept back inbound onto the 358. So we'll change our course over to 358. As we get ready now, you can see that we are closing in. Around 8.7, we'll start the turn. And then we'll drop into a flaps 15 gear down as we slow under 185. So as we approach now nearer to our distance for the runway, you can see that we are coming down onto the 091. 1,000 to go for 3,000 feet. So we can carry on the descent. We're just near ready to make that right hand turn. 90 ME will make that right hand turn inbound onto the 358. So everything's set, landing lights, start switches are continuous. We've got our runway turn-offs which are on as well. We're fully established, gear is down, we are ready to go. Our gear will be down in just a few moments time. So as we come down now, we're going to go down to 1,800 feet basically. It wants 850, so we're going to go down to 1,800. Just going to put in the 358 so we can get ready to track inbound again. 90 of me coming up now, so we make that right hand turn to the 358. We drop down into a flaps 15, gear down. Where we're then going to continue the descent down to 1,850 feet, which is practically our minimums, where we disconnect then and break off onto the 325 at 4 DME from Samos. So just tracking over now, ready to intercept back inbound onto the 358. So as we watch the VOR needle on the navigational display, we'll start to see it tick over. 2500, which is checked. Also brake is max. Speed brake is armed. So as the VOR needle starts to come back, we'll just ease up on our heading. That way we can let the VOR needle just creep across, and then we can track inbound and intercept for the 358. Plus 100 checks, so we're down for around 1850, we're putting for 1800, which is set. VOR needles slowly creeping over to the right, so minimums continue, and we are committed to landing. So we're just going to track to the left a little, just so we can get the VOR needle over a little more, and then we can swing in onto the 358. So flaps 30 set, which we need to be set before we disconnect at 4 DME. So we're going to run out, 4 DME is where we're going to turn left onto the 325, and then we're going to follow it down all the way until 1100 feet breaking over the pier. Then 900 just before the village over onto the left, which we won't see, and then we're going to make that right hand turn, passing over the white shed for 400 feet. So we are all ready to go. We're tracking inbound now, just ready to turn in, so we'll get the heading select now back onto the 358, which is set, or 359. As we track literally dead bang on, now track inbound, 4 DME, we'll then make that left hand turn. Before we make that left hand turn, we'll disconnect the autopilot so we will have full control of the aircraft. So, cabin crew, take your seats for arrival. We're holding for 1800 now, we're waiting for 4 DME, so now we can get ready. We're going to disconnect the autopilot and the auto throttle, and then we'll start our descent down to 900 feet. So autopilot disengaged, auto throttle is also disengaged, and I have control of the aircraft. So we're going to break off now to 325. As we start that descent down, we're passing around 1100 feet, just off to the pier, and on the left hand side, which we ain't going to see, we'll then continue down 900 feet. We can see the white shed just in distance in the centre of the windshield. We're going to use that as our reference to come around the bend. Now this is a very tricky approach. So following that descent down now, we're passing 1100, then 900, and then we'll pass in for that right hand turn, just passing 400 feet on the shed. We'll get ready to go. 1000 check.
1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
So we're going to that right hand turn. And get ready to go. So we get the terrain warning, because obviously we've got terrain in front of us, which we're not going. Onto that right hand bank now, full 30 degrees of bank. All the way around now. Okay, there's the airport in sight. As we swing it round now, just try and catch hold. Use a little bit of right rudder here, just to try and encourage the aircraft to come round.
200.
Gain control, onto that left hand turn.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And down we come. So speed brakes are up, and reversers are active. And there we are guys, down in Samos. Well, that was a tricky approach. Checked.
80 knots.
Versus can be stowed. As you get ready now to turn around and go back up to stand. As we're saying, it is a tricky approach. Speed brakes can be armed back into their positions as we get our flaps already set.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have
So this is a tricky approach. It was a really nice one to fly. I could do it again if you guys want to see me do it again.
It's currently about
See if we can nail it. Leave a thumbs up down in the comment section, and we'll be sure to get it all going. So we're going to go up to the block now. We'll get the aircraft all ready to go in, and then we'll go to our takeoffs, landing cinematics, ready for the arrival for 091. So don't forget to subscribe subscribe, guys. Thanks for all the support you guys show. And I'll leave you with the cinematics now, ready to come in for 09 for the VOR DME approach for Samos. So take care for now, guys, and I'll see you for our next flight. Bye-bye.